Going to do a cam belt job now on the Toyota Caldina 1993 2C diesel. Let's see here. Oh, bit of a tight garage. Also got problems with tappets. They're a bit tight, so I'll be showing how to get them done, I guess. So yeah, we'll just start stripping it down now. That's what the engine looks like at the moment. Just give that a bit of a clean. Yeah, should really give the engine bay a bit of a clean too. So I had a bit of a disaster the other day, but never mind, it's alright. So as you can see, I've just taken the cam belt cover, the top cover off. I've looked at the belt. I've just recently bought this car. It's still in average condition, but you never can tell, so I like to change them pretty soon after I buy one, and put new fluids in. The coolant overflow in the washer bottle. Now I'm about to get this one into here. Undo that, and you've got to undo this one here. It'll loosen the belt tension on that belt. This one here, only undo it just a little bit. You just need enough for it to move back that way, and the adjuster there will move it back. That was going the right way. Just do a quick inspection. And it's pretty good, really. There are a few cracks in it. I'll just turn that light off. See a wee bit better. There's not really many cracks on it, but I've got a spare belt anyway, so I'll be putting a new one on. Lock that shaft up because that would free spin, so I've just put the spanner in there. Just be careful you don't snap the outlet hose off. Just be very, very careful with that. But anyway, she's loose now, so that's good. Unfortunately, I need to get that bolt the air out. And to do that, you've got to take the pulley off, unfortunately. Get that off. There's a wee keyway in here. Right there. So take that out and put it somewhere safe. Yeah, you do have to take that this pulley off here. That's the tensioner, and there's also the one that we took out plus two more, and I'll get all this contraption out. So I believe I have to take out that one and pull the whole unit out. That wee contraption out there. I suppose you could call that the tensioner unit. Pain in the bum, really. Anyway, got to be done. So we're getting there. Trying to get to that cam belt cover, which is you can see the cam belt there. Cam belt cover, and cracking that wee puppy down there. That's the crank bolt pin. Sorry, the crank bolt. And that one's going to be interesting. The engine mount. Probably best to jack the car up for this one. So that's the first one I need to take out. There's the second. Right there. And I think there's one at the back I need to take out as well. The engine mounts were loose. But, oh well, that's good, better than real tight ones, I guess. Got that one out there. And that one out there, and that one there. Now I need to jack it up to get the two there. Oh, good, they've actually changed the design on it a wee bit. I hope. Because I remember the last time I did it, it wasn't that easy. A wee bit. Just jacked it up. Put the gas bottle under. Then you hide under the car. All good. Taking the wheel off. Yeah. Get to that crank pulley. Uh-oh. Making a bit of power steer fluid there. That ain't good. Okay. Very pain on the bum bolt. Right, up. This is obviously the bottom of the engine. Right up there. It's not really focusing that well. There's the one on the centre, you see that one's taken out, and the centre one. So, if you check the whole thing up and yeah, undo that, and then when you're taking that bolt off, make sure you jack up on the sump or roundabouts just to hold the engine and take the weight of it. Yeah, once you get out the engine mount, which is that puppy there, you're almost there. Almost. As far well, from what I can remember from the last time anyway. 2 bolts which are in here. There's one there and one there. Dung dung. And I don't know if that'll come off yet or not. No, I think I'll still have to undo that one there. But we're close. We're very close. So, yeah, next step is to take the alternator belt off. Get undo this one here. And there's tensioner there. Now it's a bit of a hard bolt to get to. And you have to work it for quite some time, but you'll get it in. You'll get it eventually. Now the real tricky ones are the 2 up here. On there, and the one above it. They need to come off, unfortunately, but that's just the way it is sometimes. What I've just done is I get nervous every time I do this, but that bolt was on. I've just undone it. Well, more the car did. Just show you how I did it. Right, so that spins that way, yeah? You put your big strong arm bar on it, and you basically pull it into the strut there, or the wishbone, whatever it's called. Make sure it's nice and tight. If you want to tighten it up a bit further, what I did is I got the 19mm spanner. Just tighten that up. Just very, very carefully, so because I don't want to undo this bolt here. So just pull that forward so it's nice and tight on the bottom there, or snug, but not to ever undo that bolt. But anyway, nice and snug, and then you just give it a wee crank. And I do not mean a start; I mean a light crank. I get very nervous about it every time I do it. It sounds terrible, but boy oh boy does it work. Now what else we've got wrong with this thing is it's a really rough starter in the morning. Blows a lot of white kind of cloudy smoke, and I have looked at the tappets and they're out on the intake only. The exhaust ones surprisingly are actually within tolerance, within spec, so I have to take the rocker cover off. So basically I just have to undo all these ones. I'm missing one here, I've lost it somewhere. All these ones, and just work my way around. Have to take these ones off as well, take the pipes off the top, take the cable out of the way, but that's not too bad. Take the accelerator cable off, and take that off of the injector pump. Hopefully, wonder if I can do it like this. I think I might be able to, maybe. Yeah. Now you swing that around like that. Well, how else do you do that? Yeah, I'm going to need 2 hands for this, but yeah, you can kind of see. Just don't bend that too much because it's really bad for it. Okay, so to get the pulley off, make sure that the bolt's undone. Like we'll bend over and put it in. Not too far in, okay? About 2 turns. give or take. So it's nice and loose. See that bolt? See how far that's moving in and out? Hopefully that does it justice. Okay. Maybe in a wee bit more. Okay, now you want to put some bolts in here. I just bought some. About that long. And buy yourself a puller. That was mine. I've done 3 cam belts with this now. Pulled out 3 crank pulleys. That was mine. So we're going to use that one. And that one. And those 2 holes. And there, sitting on there, just loosely, okay? There's a bit of slop in there. Okay. Now you don't want to crank the hell out of it. Put the main pin in. Wind that up a wee bit. But still have it loose. Okay, just grab there. And that's going to push on that bolt, on the main crank bolt. Make sure you get it nice and square. And then start to do this up. Okay, make sure there is a bit of gap in between here, between the back of your puller and the crank bolt. Otherwise you're going to damage something. And you want to do that up, which is basically just pushing that big bolt, and I can feel the crank pulley just coming off, just sliding off quite nicely. Now we're coming up to where it's going to grab onto that crank bolt pin. So we'll back it off. It's still nice and loose, nice and loose, nice and loose. And it's just grabbed there. So stop there. And hopefully it'll pull off itself. Main pulley off. And plugged in my phone because it's running low on batteries. Now, just got... I think there's only 2 bolts. Just that one there. And that one there to undo. And then we'll be able to see the crankshaft pulley for the cam belt. It was those 2 bolts. Just wait for this to focus in. That's a bit better. Okay. There's a wee washer on that. Take that off. And mark the belts up. Now there should be timing marks on it somewhere. But I always make my own. Yeah, so this is the injector pump. And I've just marked it here and here. There is actually a timing mark on the injector pump. But you can't see it because I put a mark with paint on it. So there and there. That's the tooth I'm going to be using as a reference point. And that's the mark I'm going to be using as a reference point. There it is, like that. I'm going to go back to this video just in case I'm unsure. Also put a mark on the timing belt so I know which tooth to line up with which tooth. Also on the cam, the tooth that I've painted there lines up perfectly with the back and there. And also I've marked the belt, which tooth I'm going to use as a reference point too. That's the tooth of the belt. You can see the little groove in there where the cam is. Okay. I think I hear someone. So I have marked the crank pulley. The mark on the bottom here. The mark on the pulley. And the mark on the block. Now I'm going to mark the belt with red. And which tooth it goes onto on the pulley. Mark the belt tooth in red. Now, I'm going to mark the top with IP for injector pump and CS for camshaft. This one I'm just going to leave blank because crankshaft is obviously CS. So I'm going to leave this one blank because there's no real good place to mark it to write on the belt. And here. So no, the black one's the crank. P, inject pump. So mark on the belt. Cam shaft, mark on the belt, mark on the pulley. Bearing in mind I've already got a different colour for that tooth, which lines up with the back of it on the engine, or on the head if you like. Now I'm going to undo this bolt here. This is your tensioner. Now some people like to replace this. I'm going to make a judgment call. I haven't actually got the tensioner, so it's more than likely I'm not going to replace it. Undo that bolt, and then the tension, you can actually undo that spring, and that'll take all the tension off the belt, and then you can remove it. So you need to check this one, which is your tensioner. Make sure it's running right. If you want to replace it, you're quite welcome to do so. And this one down here, I've got my finger on right now. I don't know if you can see that very well. That's your idler. You can replace that one too. Some people do, some people don't. This one is your water pump. Down here was the crankshaft. And down the bottom, below the idler, right here, don't know if you can pick that up or not, right there, that's your oil pump. Comes right up to your tensioner and around to your camshaft. It's kind of a view there into your injector pump. Now, with this, with these tappets, one bolt there. Where's my hook? No, can't see it. One bolt there, which I've just taken out. One here. There's one right underneath there, underneath my finger. You can just see. And there's one on the other side too. You can just see the top of it there. Undo those. Okay. Just labelled all those caps. 1, 2, 3. Need a bit of shade. 3, 4, and 5. 3, 2, 1. What I've done is I've marked the new belt with the markings from the old one. Now it's very, very important to get the exact same marks, okay? So I've got the marks on the belt, but I've also got the marks that I've marked on the injector pump, camshaft, and down below on the crankshaft. So I'm confident that I have got them right. Now what I've done is in here, right, that wee hook there, and there's a little wee stub that's right there. I've taken off this spring here. So basically I've pulled off the old belt and put the new one on, and I'm ready to tension it now. So I'll put that spring back on. Now here, this bolt here, leave that one loose, and also leave this one loose too. Not loose, but you know, just up hand tight. You can see I've put that spring back on. I just used a screwdriver. So I put this on with my hands, this one here, and I've pulled it through with the screwdriver. In this kind of fashion. Got it on the spring and there, and pulled it across just to there. It's hard to, obviously I can't do it with holding the camera, but I've just slid it across, pulled it right over, and then just slid it off the screwdriver and put it onto that lug. What you do now is put the crank pulley bolt back in, put that one down there, and just turn the engine over by hand 2 turns at least. Turn the engine over twice by hand, and I'm a bit puffed by it. Well, it was more than twice anyway. So I got the mark, back on the mark, Okay, that's the belt mark, so it doesn't need to worry about that because you lose the mark anyway after you turn it 2 times. Okay, so the cam shaft is on the right point. See the marking there again. See the marking there, and of course on the bottom as well. Should line up, and it does. It's hard to kind of see in this light, but it does, and I'm confident with that. Now what you do is come up the top again and tighten up the main bolt on the tensioner, as well as this one here, which is behind the spring.